What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley, and that's the one and only Star Wars Jedi himself, Scott Savage. Scott, what's up, buddy?
That's right. We are back in the world of Star Wars again, Woo! As is everyone.
Yeah, that's right. So yesterday we stated how we will not be reviewing Jedi Survivor, and to our pleasant surprise, our codes did arrive last night, so we will be on it. Actually, I'm on it already. I'm already started. Dude, I'm already in. And, wow. Yeah, we're off to a great start. I'm telling you that much.
I've already decided which direction my character is going and everything. I love it.
How far are you into the game then already?
Not terribly far. I think I've leveled up 3 times, but I took a good look through the perks and the level trees.
Man, it's deep, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, yeah. I was giggling last night as I'm playing along. I started it up. I'm like, okay, I got things to do. I better turn this off right now and clean up a couple other things. But
that's gonna be the hard part of this whole week, month.
Well, yeah, right. So here we are. I'm diving in. Like my whole weekend now has gone to this, and we have other things we got to take care of for the show and like previews we're working on for next week. Next week is a hot week as well. We got a lot kind of coming in around for next week, so make sure you keep an eye on our YouTube channel and our website as well. And there's a lot dropping. I'm not sure what all we can say, so I don't want to say too much. Just stay tuned, because man, as I was telling Scott here off air, for 4 people, we've got a lot of content on the drop here, and very proud of my team and what we're able to accomplish. And thanks to everybody who helps us out.
And I feel like a kid in a candy shop.
Well, that is it, right? But yeah, dude, let's get into today's show, where people can join us live over on kick.com/inside-the-game, as well as youtube.com/inside-the-game-official. But if you can't join us when we're live at 11 a.m. Eastern, Monday to Friday, usually, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, today's show, Cyberpunk is back, as DLC is just around the corner, with Phantom Liberty going to be hands-on and more coming to the Summer Game Fest, which I'm looking pretty pumped towards, man, to see what we all get out of this, because that whole window now is shifted. E3, rest in peace, we all know how that's gone, and there's a lot more content coming up. Also dropping, though, is Twisted Metal live action show coming in July, and PS5s are crushing the numbers, my friend. Ooh, I got a couple thoughts on that one. Dude, let's get going. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty confirmed for Summer Game Fest. This is Michael Hardens over at PSU. CD Projekt Red has revealed that we'll finally be able to get a proper look at Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty in June, with hands-on available to press and content creators coming at Summer Game Fest. In addition to the above, the studio revealed that it will also be looking to provide hands-on opportunities for fans at a later date, though no further details were confirmed. The expansion will feature Idris Elba. I got that right, didn't I?
Idris.
Damn it, man. I knew I was getting close. I was like, I knew I was off somewhere. Either way.
It's not a very common name.
No, in a major role, and also signals the return of Keanu Reeves and Johnny Silverhand, which has me with so many questions as to how they're pulling this one off, because the way my story ended, Scott, dude, that was not happening, right? Like,
I have not come to the end now, and I'm wondering, do I have to add this to the list of games I have to put in front of Star Wars?
Good luck. Oh, man. But players will be able to explore a whole new area in Night City. CDPR has previously said that Phantom Liberty is by far its biggest expansion to date, which is nothing short of impressive considering The Witcher 3's DLC was pretty meaty itself. Dude,
I didn't take a good deep look at the DLC for The Witcher, actually, so I'm not certain exactly how big it is. I just know that it is quite legendarily large.
No, absolutely. Okay, it depends on how you kind of take a look at it, right? Because they had 2 pieces of DLC for The Witcher, Blood and Wine, and there was
and then Wild Hunt.
Wild Hunt was the main thing. There was Blood and Wine. What was the other? There was another piece of DLC. Now I got to look it up, dude. Blood.
I thought it was for sure Wild Hunt, but no, I think you're right, because the version of the game henceforth was Wild Hunt.
That's right. Yeah. I'm looking up The Witcher 3 DLC. If I could spell DLC this morning.
I applaud Witcher 3 for being in the conversation for about a decade now.
Constantly. Well, do you think anything has to do with the fact that it had a remaster as well come out just recently to new consoles, right? So there is that. Yeah. If Brad was here, he would be able to tell us right off the top of his head. I know he could. But I know Blood and Wine, and that's where I'm getting hooked up at. It was just Blood and Wine, but there is another one as well, and it's kind of irritating that I
think it was the second one that was much larger,
right?
If I recall.
Hearts of Stone. That's what it was. So there's, yeah. So there's 2 pieces of DLC that was pretty meaty, pretty heavy, and then from there's like a ton of free content that came as well. So there's a lot to kind of keep everybody going. But now when we get into Cyberpunk, the fact that they were able to turn that game around so much kind of has me excited to go back. I honestly thought once I finished up, I finished the campaign and bounced. I'm like, I am done. I don't think I'll ever need to go back. And the way everything was going, right? We're supposed to get a multiplayer. That's not coming. And then they talked about DLC, and everybody was on the fence whether or not that was actually coming. Now, here it is, hands-on at Summer Game Fest for press and content creators. So we'll see what else we can kind of get into and what else we can understand. My biggest question, though, does come down to Johnny Silverhand and his story. How does that tie back in? Because there's multiple endings, right, Scott? So your ending could be definitely different than mine, which I'm always such a big fan of. I love that your story is your story, right? So I want to get in.
You're usually the good guy, aren't you?
Most times, yeah, I am.
Okay. How do we diversify our Star Wars play is where I'm thinking now.
yeah, no, for sure. Man, we'll see what happens. I'm curious to get back into the world of Cyberpunk. I know they've changed it around, and there's more people playing Cyberpunk now than ever, which has me pretty excited to know that, okay, we are finally at a polished state that I will be comfortable to come back into, right, and play more, learn more about the game.
That's what I've been excited for, and hopefully this will be the trigger that kind of brings me back in, because there was what was it, update number 8, I think it was, where I jumped in and the game was considered at that point to be finally ready. And I enjoyed it, but I kind of got in, same as yourself, I think, more for the discussion, get in on the conversation. I want to know what's going on, and it's a bit of a cultural moment. But now going back, I think it's much more ripe to enjoy, and that's the way I want to play it. Keanu Reeves, has he been in anything ever bad? You're gonna say Bill and Ted, aren't you? But
no, actually, that was a timepiece. That's all that was.
That's right.
Yeah, that's funny. For me now, the question comes around to when do we get it?
If we're seeing something about across the summer here, Summer Games Fest, is that going to be a stealth drop, perhaps?
I don't think so. I think they're lining up for the holiday season. And it kind of makes me nervous for holiday season because there's a lot already kind of on the dock for September. And then from there, what else are we heading into? More Call of Duty. Call of Duty will be back with something else, right? So I don't know. We'll see where else we kind of head into, because PlayStation also is about to announce what they're up to here, hopefully sooner than later. And I'm hoping they stealth drop something this summer, because Spider-Man is still on the fence whether or not we get it in September or they push it to a later date. Do they give room to Starfield, or do they want to take some of that spotlight away and say, hey, you want to play Spider-Man? Here it is, 2 days after Starfield drops. Like, you know what I mean? So they kind of have this opportunity to kind of steal the spotlight a little bit again, and then continuing on.
Unfortunately, we know Horizon is still several years away from the next Horizon title, but that would be a great time to steal some spotlight from.
And we'll have our my and Steve's thoughts on it next week with Burning Shores. Steve and I are both done, wrapped up. I put 25 hours into that game, just DLC alone, which blew my mind. So yeah, I'm glad I wrapped that up, because now we're in Star Wars, and then everything else we have lined up for next week is like right off.
There's not enough time in this life.
No, we're very busy.
That is why there's 4 of us, but even then we're still spread pretty thin.
Some days, right? Some days I'm like, we could use to double up our team sometimes. But either way, Scott, let's get into the Twisted Metal live action show. Gets a first poster premiering in July. Marcus Stewart over Game Informer. The live-action Twisted Metal TV series got its first poster just yesterday, courtesy of IGN, ahead of its teaser trailer scheduled to drop. I've not seen the trailer yet. Have you seen the trailer at all?
No,
I haven't seen it pop up. So the upcoming adaptation of the classic PlayStation car combat series is set to premiere this July. Twisted Metal is being dropped by Peacock, of all things. And it stars Anthony Mackie as protagonist John Doe, a smart-ass delivery driver who transports supplies between settlements in a post-apocalyptic America. Dude, this is not going to be anything near the level, I feel, of The Last of Us.
Yeah, everything, good or bad, is going to be compared to The Last of Us now. And personally, I'm not sure that anything will stand up quite so well.
Yeah,
we've seen it's toppled even the mighty of Halo, but
Halo was not easy. It was easy to take over. Like that's
I consider Halo the show in the same way I look at the CDI Zelda games. They just kind of don't count.
Right? Absolutely. It's basically being pressed as a action comedy series, which we're getting Sweet Tooth. Who is this is weird.
It has to be Sweet Tooth. He has to be in it, otherwise this is not.
It's not Twisted Metal, right?
Not correct. It's Vigilante without Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, it's so we get Sweet Tooth, who is voiced by Will Arnett, but is physically performed by pro wrestler Samoa Joe.
I don't know the wrestler, but man. Will Arnett is actually an interesting pick. I did see this
who's voicing the character, but yet Samoa is going to be actually the one physically present. I don't know, I am worried about this.
I have friends that wanted it to be Danny DeVito, but he must be too busy or perhaps too expensive
or too short. Twisted Metal.
Well, he never has to leave the vehicle. See,
just get him
on a
seat.
couple phone booths, and he's good.
Yeah, that's right. Twisted Metal premieres on July 27th, exclusively on Peacock, and consists of 10 half-hour long episodes. Scott.
Okay, not an incredibly large commitment, but there is a good amount of time there.
There is something there, right? I don't know.
Is it going to be enough to sell the charm?
I don't,
because there is a charm to Twisted Metal. It's kind of a weird word to use, but
yeah, that's for sure.
I've been out of it since Twisted Metal 3. I think there was one that was on PlayStation 3, and that was really interesting. I have two friends that actually wrote an entire in-depth wiki page. Essentially, they went and took all the damage from different distances. They really ran the science at it.
Nice.
So I got to experience quite a lot of fandom.
Sure.
Associated with Twisted Metal. They are not particularly excited based on this poster, however.
Ouch. Right? Yeah. We'll see how it goes. As I said, I'm nervous too, right? I don't know if this will really hit the way they're hoping to. I don't think it'll go anywhere near the success that they saw with The Last of Us. Obviously, we're in two completely different genres, but this one feels just a stretch too thin for me. But
there is a lot of story you could tell, specifically about Sweet Tooth and his daughter, I believe. But I'm wondering if they're going to get into that too much, or they're going to set up some inner character things. Is this going to sell a season 2? But again, based on that poster, I look at the poster and I see Fast and the Furious.
A lot of people commented on that, right? A lot of people feel this Fast and the Furious take on it is like, woo. I don't know. I don't know, but time will tell on July 27th, Scott. Dude, let's get into it. We're still talking about Sony as Sony smashes console shipping record as PS5s clear 38 million. Not too shabby. PlayStation 5 shipped 6 million consoles during the first months of 2023, breaking quarterly records. Andy Robinson over at VGC with a very lengthy article that I'm not going to read all of. Definitely go check out his article, though. But Sony Interactive Entertainment has shipped a record 6.3 million PlayStation 5 consoles during the first 3 months of the year to reach 38.3 million consoles shipped life to date. This reportedly represents a record for any games console during a calendar Q1 window. Scott, that's off to a hot start. It also doubles PS4's all-time peak for the same window and more than triple what PS5 managed during the same supply constrained period last year. Dude, people are clamoring for a PS5 right now. It's a hot ticket. It's a hot item. And I wonder, there's a couple things that kind of make me go, here's why. When we take a look at Xbox versus PlayStation, if you had to pick which way to go based on first party titles alone, it's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it, Scott?
Yeah, PlayStation has been killing it now for a couple years. Solid.
Absolutely. We just talked about Spider-Man 2 being one of those games that are going to be coming up here shortly, right? Are they going to launch it in September? Are they not? Burning Shores just wrapped up DLC, which is only PS5. You do not get it on PS4. They went all in for the next gen or current gen console. I guess current gen at this point. We're 3 years in, right?
Yeah.
It's just, I know. It is what it is. But there's a lot kind of going on here of their lineup looks way more appealing right now than what Xbox has, as we all count on Starfield to come around the corner. And that's kind of it. Yeah, Redfall is just around the corner as well, like 2 weeks out. Dude, I don't know. We haven't received our code yet. It's 1 week. Sorry, May 2nd, I believe, is when it comes.
May 2nd, less than 1 week. That is only 4 days away.
And we haven't received our code yet. And I don't know of anybody who has, which makes things a little concerning, because if they don't drop you your code until the very end, that's a little disheartening for the media, because that means things aren't going to go the way they expect it to, right? Which is a heartbreaker for me, because it's Arcane Studios, who I love and adore that studio. But at the same time, I'm just like, this game, I know this game isn't for me, but I know it is for some. And the feedback that's coming around on it isn't all that welcoming. And then you get into the highly anticipated Final Fantasy 16, a PS5 exclusive. Again, Scott, right? So when you talk about first parties, you talk about exclusives. Dude, PS5 is the reason why it's selling so well, is because their lineup has their backing to carry that forward, where Xbox right now just doesn't really have much. Starfield, I think, will be proven. Redfall people will enjoy maybe for a week and then bounce out, right? Where's the longevity coming around here? And where's Fable? What's the other one they have? Wildlands? I think it is. No, what was that? Man, it's made by Rare. Rare is working on something. I can't remember what it's called. It was Wild something. And it looked incredible. And we haven't seen anything since. Like, there's so many questions. We saw last year's showcase. Here's what you get over the next 12 months. I wonder how Xbox lines that up this year. Do they go back to that formula? Or do they go, hey, here's what we're bringing you this year, and boom, 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 and the next 2 years, the next 3 years. Here's the overall scope of what we're building. Do we get to see Avowed, right? Is Xbox too late now to catch up in this current gen console race?
I don't think necessarily too late now, but you do make a good argument for why the ABK merger should go through. Because you talk about exclusives, talk about first parties, talk about market dominance, and well, Xbox is not leading, and if they are, they're not leading by a large amount.
They're not leading in anything right now. It's funny, because those who talk about their sales, it's because they're winning the race, right? PlayStation is there, almost 40 million consoles already, and like, dude, it's only going to go up. And now they're getting more supply on a bunch more consoles, now having it in stores on shelf, being a lot more accessible to get, right?
That's resulted in a reversing of all the scalping, eh? I've seen a lot of stories coming out, scalpers selling things for under asking price now because, well, you just didn't sell it fast enough and the market caught up. Sucks to suck.
Looking ahead, Sony said it expects to ship 25 million PS5 consoles during the current fiscal year ending on March 31st, 2024, which would represent a record for PlayStation consoles. Quote, if we could achieve that, it would be our highest level ever. CFO Hierarchy? Dude, how did this one go again?
Hiroki
Totoki. That's how it goes.
Hiroki Totoki. I don't have the name in front of me, but I remember that.
Yeah, said during an earnings call on Friday, adding that the reason the company believes the figure is possible is because of data it has on the rate of PS4 users upgrading to PS5, as well as the number of new adopters. Dude, PlayStation is just going to continue to dominate, I think, once again, this life cycle. And I don't think Xbox is going to catch up. I think that they're going to have to do is come out swinging whenever they launch the next Xbox. I think they're going to have to keep building their library. But again, we talked about it over the years, how much Xbox relies on Game Pass. Where
that's what I was just thinking. Will this be a console thing entirely, or will we be mostly beyond consoles by the time the next generation comes around? Will it be mostly a cloud service? You just have an Android box that you're referencing.
Well, right, and this is where the UK regulators came in and said they're concerned about the whole cloud streaming thing because Xbox is leading that charge, right? So all of a sudden now you go from console domination with PlayStation to then the cloud leading domination of being Xbox. They're just switching hands. So it's very curious to see how all this is going to fall into place. But man, oh man, like it's an interesting race. Scott, before we get going though, because we are getting there, I do want to talk about this one because I know it's going to break your heart a little bit, but there is hope. Dude, there's hope at the end of the tunnel for you. It is Titanfall 3. Quote, I'd love it, but it has to be the right thing at the right time, says Respawn CEO. We might just get it. Who knows? Short of Half-Life 3, there's not that many exclusive games fans would love to see announced more than Titanfall 3. Respawn Entertainment's first IP produced since its foundation did extremely well, with the debut installment selling over 10 million copies in the first year. Wow. Dude, I didn't realize that number was so high.
One of the best online shooters ever created.
However, its sequel, Titanfall 2, launched in October 2016, squeezed right between DICE's Battlefield 1 and Infinity Ward's Call of Duty Infinity Ward. Dude, what a mistake that was.
That's the mistake that pains me.
Well, that's the thing, right? If they would have put that in a different window, we'd be in a different light right now, I think. But Respawn CEO Vince Zampella said Titanfall 3 was not in the works, but fans kept hoping. In September 2020, an Apex Legends data miner fueled those Titanfall 3 dreams once again. We eventually learned that there was indeed a single-player game called Titanfall Legends in the works at Respawn, but it was canceled before the official announcement. And now we know Respawn is on to Star Wars, dude. Vince says, yeah, it's something they want to create, but it's just not available as of right now. It's something they want to look at hopefully one day in the future. So, Scott, hopes are there, buddy. You might just get your game after all.
Yeah, that is the slightest bit settling, is that, well, they are interested in wanting to create another one. The time just isn't right, and I can respect that at least. I'm just glad to know that somebody other than myself and seemingly hundreds of thousands of other fans really want the game.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. Apex has definitely taken off and became more mainstream, I think, than what Titanfall has with Titanfall 2, right? Between Battlefield and Call of Duty, it got sandwiched, man, and nobody saw the light of day of it.
I'm really hoping in 10 years I'm going to be playing a game and I'll hear BD's voice or just Titan inbound, and I'll cry because it'll be finally here.
Well, it's one of those moments that you kind of go, this has got to happen, right? At some point, they've already looked at it. It's lining up. And we often thought, yeah, this is coming to Apex. Why is it not in Apex? And it's funny, when it comes to the shooters, Scott, dude, I'd rather play Titanfall than Apex. Straight up. Right? For me, I know they're the same kind of esque sort of thing, but it's
the same universe, but yeah, it is different.
Titanfall just felt better to me and not as spongy as Apex does.
Oh, it's the best movement shooter there is. You see all the people playing Call of Duty at light speed. Yeah. Just move on to Titanfall. I'm telling you.
Scott, we do have a couple of games out today. Some small games, maybe. What are they?
Just a small Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak is on PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, X, and S. And you may have heard of Star Wars Jedi Survivor is on PlayStation 5's Xbox Series console and PC.
Speaking of what Respawn is busy doing right now, right, with Jedi Survivor. So that's definitely going to keep them occupied over the next little while. With fixes too, we talked about that on yesterday's show. I'm only an hour in, so I haven't experienced anything as of yet. There was a small little glitch, but either way, do you playing on performance
or? I've experienced the same thing.
Yeah, really. Yeah, all right. Yeah, we'll get into it off air, but yeah, it is one of those things. Like, is this gonna kind of pan out, or is it gonna need some fixing? Because we've heard yesterday too. If you're a fan of this, maybe just wait off until they fix it a little bit. It's one of those. It's interesting, very interesting.
It's been review bombed, to put it that way.
Which is unfortunate, man. This whole review bombing thing is just a joke. Obviously, we keep saying this. Either listen to the critics as we judge it properly, and not just, hey, this game sucks and you shouldn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Which is just a mistake, right?
So find one that you trust. I liked how you put that.
Absolutely. Hopefully you trust us and join us each and every day when we're live Monday to Friday. 11 a.m. Eastern sometimes, most times over at Kick in YouTube at Inside the Game. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. And everybody, enjoy your weekend. Happy Star Wars. Happy Jedi Survivor. I'm Drew. That's Scott. We'll see you inside the game.